All right, before I forget, the whole purpose of this post is that they may be arresting someone for a Tupac's murder. So I got this comment that starts off with, I will never understand the entitlement black men have towards black women. And it made me think, because in my lifetime, what I've experienced, not that much black men feeling that they have an entitlement towards black women. If anything, the opposite, and that tends to be what many people feel is a problem. But I have definitely felt that black women feel an entitlement towards me, or that I have a certain amount of responsibility or obligation towards them, and that will transcend even even me being Puerto Rican. Like, in other words, like, let's say I'm in a room and there's a black woman and there's a Puerto Rican woman, regardless of the shade of her skin. If I'm in the United States, definitely there tends to be a societal kind of entitlement belief, thought process, pressure, whatever you want to put it, that my kind of obligation or kind of entitlement is towards the black woman, or the black woman has a certain entitlement towards me. So I found that interesting. But also the second half of her comment is, if you were murdered, wouldn't you want your family spearheading it, not strangers? And kind of getting to the Tupac, they may be arresting someone for his murder. No, not necessarily would I want my family spearheading it. They would be the most emotional. They would be the most likely to get manipulated. In a situation in which someone gets murdered, in any basically kind of injustice situation, it is much better to have as many random quote unquote people involved on it and fighting on it, fighting for justice as possible, because it's more likely you'll get it. Otherwise, it is more likely to allow corruption and injustice. If you were to kind of separate things and it always being about, oh, that's just their case, and it's not really about us. So no, it doesn't necessarily make sense to want to have the family kind of spearhead some things like that. Also, another example that is with BLM. There's many of the families that BLM used to say that they were supporting, and they ended up not getting support. One of the ways that happens is because it becomes a closed loop. So in other words, the BLM said, hey, we're going to support this family, and everybody kind of leaves the family alone, and they leave the investigation alone, believing that BLM is spearheading that. And then it's less likely for that family to get justice, because there's not as many people looking into the case and fighting for it. So just want to respond to that real quick.